Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing, Euro 2024 and the US Open tips. Slightly different introduction on Wednesday night. So this bet starts on Thursday. Not quite sure what time it'll be. I think it's probably normally about 2 o'clock. I think in our time when the US Open starts. Might be wrong, slightly wrong with the time, but anyway, if you put the bet on tonight, you're on in plenty of time. So a quick recap on Wednesday's performance. Well, I'll tell you what, we could have quite easily had two winners out of the first two runners. The first selection went clear with another runner, and then the one that was leading at the time lent into our horse, and we drifted towards the near side rail. I think it kind of put off our horse, and then it just stayed on, and I think it came fourth in the end, which was enough to secure a place. The next selection, as I said, it doesn't matter which. If you fancy one of the Michael Stout outsiders, I would never put you off. Well, the same thing happened again. I don't know what price it returned, but I know we took 10-1, and I saw 17-2 about 4:30 this morning. So yeah, and she rode a good enough ride, and it just wasn't good enough to win. I think it lost by something like a head in the end at 10-1. The third selection was travelling okay, found absolutely zilch, and came probably last. The last selection, in my opinion, I thought it was running a good race up until it turned for the home straight. I fancied it to win all the way round. She was travelling very well. And I'll tell you what, I'll be honest, she gave it a poor ride, but I think she's a good jockey. It was a poor ride today. It was a nap of the day, and I still think if she got a bit of luck in running, whether she'd created her own bad luck, I don't know. But whether she had a bit better luck in running, I think would have had a winner there. And it was back down from, I think it was 5-1 to 5-2. So it was fancied. Yeah, so that's Wednesday's recap. So let's get on to Thursday. So I can only find two horse racing selections to choose to pick. So what I've actually done is I've included part of my Euro 2024 bet and also a bet for the US Open. So what I've gone for a 30 pence each way lucky 15 and a 50 pence each way accumulator. And what I'm trying to do, basically, I'm trying to use the two horses to basically get a nice bet or an exciting bet going on to the golfer. So if this golfer makes the cut, which will be Friday night time, so we'll know whether we've got bet for the weekend. If we have, we'll probably have a shout if he makes the cut. And also the final bet is, like I say, it's a top goal scorer in the Euros, and the top goal scorer in the Euros may give an indication of what team I think will do well. Anyway, so the first selection is Min Woo Lee at 50-1. In the alternative places, this is 12 places. I've tried to go for as many as possible because this guy has got an half decent record for somebody that's not interested in, as in like the general public that don't show much interest in golf. Min Woo Lee has actually done quite well for himself. Is a name that is probably underrated. So I think 50-1 with 12 places, I think it's decent value because he has got an okay record at the US Open. And I think it's one of them. I said to my mate, I think he'll do well in one of the big tournaments. So that was about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm gradually seeing his name pop up more and more often. He was leading in a major tournament, and I thought, oh, here we go. But I think he faded slightly. So yeah, I like the look of Min Woo Lee. Don't go wrong, he could have a bad round and miss the cut, but 50-1, in my opinion, is too big. The second selection is Lenny's Spirit at 7-1 in the 145 at Newbury, paying 5 places instead of 3. I think they've prepared this horse ready for this race again. This horse won this race, or jointly won this race last year when I believe it dead-heated. I might be wrong if it dead-heated, but it definitely won the race anyway. It's 7-1. I think with the preparation, because it catches my eye with how they've ran it 3 times this season. Not because they ran it 3 times, because the first 2 times it was held up. First time over a distance that was too short. It was a mile. Unlucky in running, held up and couldn't get a clear run. Second selection, it was a similar kind of tactics. I can't remember if it was unlucky, but it was held up again. And then last time, this is the kind of angle that I like, because in my opinion, they've just getting it like a pipe opener, absolutely blasted it. So what they've done is a horse that, don't get me wrong, it's won races from the front, but mixing the tactics up. So it's been held up twice this season. The third time was last time at Beverley. It pressed the leader, it led 4 out, and it may have used up too much pressure too early, deliberately, to give it an hard race just so it strips fitter for this one. I do remember seeing this. I've got a funny feeling I might have tipped it last year when it won. So I'd be happy if it was held up, but if it makes the running, you might see Sophie Smith kick for home for quite a long way out, because that's what she did in one of this horse's victories last season. I think she's won 3 times on it, so she knows how to ride. She gets on well with the horse, and it's a tricky race. The third selection is a favourite of the channel. It's Enderman at 17-2 in the 420 at Nottingham, paying 4 places instead of 3. This horse followed the script when we got it beat last time by, if you remember that horse called Run This Way, when we had a decent, I think we had a decent bet up that day. Yeah, we did actually. That was the last run of Run This Way when I think it won at 7-1. So Run This Way won at Redcar on the with a draw bias, or slight draw bias anyway, because there was a draw bias, but they moved slightly away from it, but it was benefited by the draw anyway. And what I said to you was there's a good chance that, because Enderman was favourite that day, there's a good chance that they'll decide which horse wants to. Well, that sounds a bit dodgy. They'll decide which horse wants to win, and I've said it about Michael Starr, and I've said it about Paul Midgley. I've said it millions of times. When Paul Midgley has got more than one in a race, do not think that the shortest prize Paul Midgley runner is probably the most fancied. Any of them can turn up. So that's what happened at Redcar. Run This Way won at 7-1, when I think Enderman were like 11-8 or something like that. So Enderman has got a cracking record at Nottingham. I am not keen on the draw. It's drawn 13, and I don't think it's a good draw, but I think it's good enough to take a hand, to run well anyway. And interestingly enough, Paul Midgley has only got one runner in the race, which is quite rare. And finally, it's going on, it's going. First of all, I am not particularly patriotic. I do not back England in every tournament. I don't think I've ever backed them in a tournament. So what I'm going for is, I don't know how deep you want to go with this. So I don't even know how to. I think things happen for a reason. I also think I'm going to like scare a few people now. I don't understand why we're here. As in, so I think there's an awful lot of things scripted. And this is getting quite deep now. So I think England. So what happened was, Dortmund, German team, played in the final at Wembley. I did actually think Dortmund would win. So I actually thought my thought process was, I thought a German team was going to win the UEFA Champions League at Wembley, like in England. So then I also thought that then England would win the Euro 2024 in Berlin in Germany. Well, the first leg didn't quite happen as in Dortmund, but they had chances anyway. So, in my opinion, right, I'm going to talk about current and world affairs now. In my opinion, there's going to be a war. And what do people remember about the war? England and Germany. So I personally think there's a lot of civil unrest at the moment. People aren't happy. So the best way of keeping the English public in general asleep is to distract them, because there's an awful lot of European nations that kick off. Or England generally isn't one of them, even though we think we are. So I think to rock us to sleep, because in my opinion, soon things are going to escalate. We're also going to enter a financial crash, and all these will get thrown on the English public by surprise. So the best thing to rock people to sleep is to give them what they want. I think England could get success in Euro 2024. I definitely think I think the best bet of the tournament, well, no, not the tournament. I think the best bet so far is England 7-4 to get to the final of Euro 2024. I haven't placed a bet yet. I shall give you some bets at some point shortly for tournament bets. But I'm going for Harry Kane, 11-2, top goal scorer and Golden Boot winner. And I think they're paying first five. Yeah, a fifth, first five. So you will show a profit, only extremely small, if Harry Kane comes in the top five. In my opinion, if England get to the semis, Harry Kane should be in the top five. I'm going. Sorry for going deep on people just then. I am a picnic short, so sorry, a sandwich short of a picnic. So or in fact, it could be a picnic short. Yeah. So anyway, the very best of if you're still here now, listen to this nonsense what I'm spouting about. Give me a like, please, if you will. And I'm expecting to see about 15 less subscribers come the end of it when I look at the stats. So the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.